What is up everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, my name is Fairy Gamer Girl, the internet's favorite dork, and for today's video I'm going to be showing you the entire process of how I decorated both my armor bombs, both the one you see here which is the Lightstick Special Edition, as well as the Armor Bomb version 3, which I will show you later on in this video. Of course I took the liberty of taking the battery out of this light stick, and I will put this off camera, all away safe and sound, and without further ado I will first start off with the larger part of the light stick, but before that I will show you what I have. So this is what I'm going to use to decorate in this gold stringy thing, as well as this glittery stuff later on. Put that aside for now, and of course, but first I have to do a base coat of paint, which I'll use these two yellows. And with that being said, I'm just gonna okay, let's get started. So the very first thing before I get the base coat even down is I have to mark off the areas where I don't want paint to touch. And for some reason I used post-it notes because that was the best option and the only thing I really had access to at the time, and I'm using more tape just to kind of hold it in place better. And then this close-up just to show you of me using cut up pieces of post-it note to cover both of the buttons so that no paint gets on them. And this is what it looks like covered up with a nice transition. We are going to show you once again how it looks like. Further ado, I'm going to get on with the painting. I have the water, of course, on the side to help if I need so. And so this is going to be the very first coat of paint, and I decided to cover it where it says Map of the Soul as well because I didn't find it necessary to not paint it. So this actually took quite some time, but this is actually very relaxing to do. I didn't realize how relaxing it would be until I was doing it. Even while filming this, it was still quite relaxing because I didn't necessarily have to focus on talking. I could just enjoy doing it while also making sure the light stick was in focus. So this is what it looks like, and I replaced the post-it notes with tape, as you can see, for the buttons. So I'm going to go back in and just add in some more touch-ups to the light stick. This is several layers of paint later. I didn't feel like I needed to see the whole thing of me painting it all because that would be way too long. But yeah. So then I moved on to the top, which I already painted off camera a little bit, like the first 2 layers or so. I used tape to cover the little red part at the top as well. And so this is what it looks like with another smooth transition with several layers in now, as well as the top. I also made sure to paint the bottom half of it off camera, move those off to the side, and moving on to the Lightstick version 3 that I have. So we are going to use a different type of yellow paint. It's a more goldish paint color. And so I have taped off the areas for this one. I used tape this time instead of the post-it notes, and this one actually worked out quite well with another smooth transition. I will start with the painting process. But first, of course, I forgot I have to disassemble this and detach the bottom half. Move that off to the side, take out the battery, of course. I will set the smaller part off to the side and start off with painting the very top this time. And this one is a more goldish color, which I actually really like how it turned out, which you will see what the final paint job looks like later in this video. And I decided to use tape on the little button to cover the button part as well because I felt that worked best. And so now moving on to the larger part of the light stick, I started off by initially just doing one part of the light stick because I initially, like where the words are on the light stick, for some reason I was thinking that I was going to do something else or paint it a different color or do something else, but then I eventually ended up painting it. I don't really know what idea I had going with this, but let's just go with it. So this is what it looks like so far, and then moving on to painting the rest of the light stick the same color. I painted one of the buttons, the bottom button, the same color, but then I left the top switch part alone because I didn't want to run the risk of it not working or paint seeping into areas and then it ended up completely completely ruining it because I waited too long for this light stick to get here and to actually be able to have one. So that's why I didn't do that. So we're just going back in and painting over the areas and doing several coats, and going back in and painting the top, of course. Just going back and just adding layers and layers of paint. So this is what it looks like after several paints, and then I will move on to the part of the light stick. And this one I actually painted over both Army and BTS logo because I didn't feel it was necessary. One of my design ideas, I wasn't going to go that route. So this is what it looks like after only one coat of the bottom one later off camera, but this is what it looks like. So the paint job done, I'm going to take off all of this darn tape. It was very obnoxious to take off, but I was definitely glad all that I did end up doing the paint job because it did turn out really well. And so that's what the top looks like with the tape taken off of it. Not too bad, I'd say, for myself. And then we are going to move on to the larger part of where the tape is of the army bomb to take all of that off, which was quite a process in trying to make sure that it came out right. It actually turned out quite well with all the use of the tape. And so these are both of the army bombs, what they look like right now, which I think didn't come out too bad if I do say so myself. And so now we're going to take off the post-it notes for Army Bomb Special Edition. This one, it didn't come out as good as the other one with tape. I wish I'd used tape sooner, but nonetheless, it still came out pretty decent. And this one I'm just moving the tape from the red part because that's what I used, and then kind of refilling in spots that I feel like need to be painted over. Of course, taking more post-it notes off. This is what they both look like after the tape and post-it notes have been removed, and I'll remove the tape from the buttons later on off camera. We are switching angles again, moving over to the counter, and this is where I use gold string, one very tiny paintbrush, and some glue to do my first attempt at actually trying to decorate the light stick. So I switched to a bigger brush because I could put more glue on the light stick at once and it would be a faster process, or at least that's what I thought it would be. That's with all the glue on it, and this is my first of many attempts of trying to get this gold string stuff onto the light stick. And this is right here where I will cut just to tell you guys that it did not go anywhere near as planned as I was hoping it. The stringy stuff did not stick very well, and using Elmer's glue didn't really help at all. And so after many attempts, I pretty much just gave up and decided to go a different route. And so the following clips is way after where I got frustrated, decided to take a break and come back and go a different route. So right here is where the sparkles come into play, and that is because I decided after my failed attempt, I decided to use the golden sparkles that you saw at the very beginning of this video. And so I decided to do that. I kind of did like a paint and pour type of method, and so as you will see, I just poured it all on there, and it seemed to work better that way to some extent. There was a lot of fallout because of the sparkles were so huge, and I just kind of poured them, and it's a round object, and so you can kind of take a guess how that went. But even with the fallout, it still ended up turning out not that bad, and I'll just let the video explain itself. How do you like my light stick?
Right. Are you putting like a shellac on top of it?
No, I don't have any type. Do we have?
What are you putting on? Oh, glue?
Glue.
Oh, that's a good idea. No, that'll work. 'Cause that's what I was going to say, is those won't stick without something on top of them.
Can I put a coat of glue over top of this?
Yeah, that's what you're doing, right? Yeah.
Well, that's to stick these things on.
Oh, yeah, after it dries,
Yeah, well, what do I would put on top of it?
I would put another layer of glue. It will help hold it, but don't try to do it until it's really dry. What it looks like after lots of hard work and patience. And so this is what it looks like after all the sparkles are on. Move on now to the bottom part. With this one I do pretty much the same thing, but I start with the outside first, roll it into the sparkles, as you can see, like that. They turned out pretty good. And then onto the top part, doing the same thing, but this time I kind of just like bloop it into the, yep, like that. Actually, it came out not that bad, so I was pretty happy with it. So that's what they look like when they're both sparkled up. So now again, switching angles to this very aesthetically pleasing shot of me pouring glue onto a plate in my basement. And this is where we go to plastering, I guess is what you call it. I think that's the right process, but basically just putting a layer of glue over top of the sparkles so that they have a better chance of staying on. I do it for the bigger part as well. Anywhere where there's sparkles, I put a shit ton of glue, because I want to make sure that they stay and that any sparkles that are going to fall off will fall off, but that it still looks pretty good. To the top as well. And then that's what it looks like with the bigger part as well. And so now we are on to version 3 Light Stick. This is what it looks like after it dried. Paint is in a very pretty gold color. So these flowers I use, these will come in handy a little bit later. And so this is what they both look like after some off-camera work. Pretty much just added the leaves and vines to the Light Stick version 3. These next clips help to explain what exactly went down. So we have the light stick, we have the flowers, gluing them on, petals, hot glue, gluing the petals on, more ripping of flowers, more glue, more pressing stuff onto glue stick, ripping, more glue stick, more sticking. Oh, that looked hideous. Yep, we're not gonna do that. Okay, and yeah, that's what it looks like so far. And then there's more glue, even more hot glue, and so yeah, that's what they both look like. I'm gonna stop you right there for a quick second. So if you, as you can see in this frame, this is the Light Stick version 3. Obviously did not come out how I wanted. What ended up happening, did a lot of work off camera, did a lot of fixing up, and so you will see in this next clip how it turned out. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I present to you, after much hard work, ta-da, these are what they look like. The special light stick didn't have any changes, so we're just going to ignore that. So we'll start off with this one. So basically I added the white flower and then the wood yellow flower, and I kept the pink one because it looked very nice, and I kept the vines as well. So of course this is what the special edition light stick looks like. I didn't change anything about it, but I just wanted to show it off once again. These are what they both look like, the final project. As you can see, I'm very happy with how they came out. That's how I decided to decorate both of my light sticks. And with that being said, I will see you guys next time. Bye!
If you want to see more content from me, then make sure to click the subscribe button right here. Check out my other videos as well in the description, as well as over here right now.